Hey guys, it's Will here. So today I'm going to give you a overview of NestJS, or at least my opinion of it, and my experience and how I've liked it so far. So some of you JavaScript developers and backend developers have been looking at Nest as a possible framework to use on the backend. For those that don't know, Nest is a TypeScript-based JavaScript framework for microservices on the backend. So basically, if you're used to just developing plain Node apps in JavaScript, that might work for some use cases, but when your apps get very, very large and have a lot of complexity, you might want to start looking into a strongly typed language such as TypeScript, where it's not 100% a strongly typed language, in that it does allow you to do some JavaScript things if you need to, kind of as an escape hatch, but it does give you more rigidity to the code. It makes the code more easy to navigate because everything is strongly typed. And yeah, basically it's just more scalable pretty much for very large apps. Express is kind of where it all started. So a lot of apps have used Express as the JavaScript framework on the back end. You can see here there's a lot of backend frameworks to choose from. Some of these have been popular for a while now, such as Sails, and Keystone is a CMS for JavaScript developers. There's just several options to choose from. Dynaloop I actually helped write, which is basically a TypeScript-based backend framework as well for C# developers who have developed C# apps, but they want to start trying out JavaScript. Dynaloop is C# friendly for those types of developers. Then at the very bottom there's NestJS. It's kind of like the newest one that's come out in the past year or so. So let's just dive into NestJS and just check it out. So first off, you can see here it has pretty strong commits. So 2,600 commits it's a pretty fair amount of commits. You go to the releases, you can see it has 6 major versions on it. So it's on version 6 already. So that kind of tells you it's kind of getting mature. It might not be extremely mature yet, but it is getting there. I would actually say it's close to getting ready for using in like production for maybe even some like enterprise environments if you want to use it in the enterprise. So it's pretty well supported. I know the core maintainer and creator, he has been doing a pretty good job of keeping up with pushing this framework forward and just adding feature after feature onto it. So yeah, it's heavily inspired by Angular. So if you developed Angular on the front end, it would be really wise to choose Nest as your first backend framework, because it uses the same exact module system and dependency injection system. So it's going to look very familiar to you. It's going to look, pretty much exactly like what you've seen on the front end for Angular, but it's a backend framework. So if you dive into the documentation, you can see it does have a fully out of the box CLI. So you're going to be able to generate and scaffold code pretty easily. So you're going to be able to scaffold out controllers. You're going to be able to scaffold out all these different things: guards, interfaces, interceptors, modules, pipes, services, and it's going to automatically add these items to your module files for you. So if you go ahead and just use the nest generate command, it's going to automatically add your controllers to the module and the services to the module and things like that. My favorite part about NestJS has been not only the TypeScript support, but the type ORM integration. So if you go to recipes, you can see type ORM is kind of a core feature of NestJS as far as databases go, because it's going to include kind of some packages that Nest has that are going to be able to work with TypeORM in a pretty nice way. So yeah, so all in all, there's a lot of very nice things about Nest. Out of the box Swagger generation is another huge one. If you're a backend developer and you want auto Swagger doc generation for your team, so you can document your APIs, you're going to be able to easily generate the Swagger docs. Just by simply adding this document builder that is part of the core NestJS library. There's so many design patterns within Nest to use, so there's almost nothing you can't do with it. I mean, it supports TypeORM, which is going to have support for all your SQL databases. It has Mongo support, so you're going to be able to use Mongo with it. It has a logger out of the box. It uses Helmet for security. These are all good things. These are all things that show a framework is pretty mature, that that it has all these things included. So it has hot reloading using a package inside, so you're going to be able to hot reload your server side apps. So that way you're not going to have to constantly stop your app and restart it. And because it's JavaScript, it just hot reloads extremely fast, even on the server side. So you can rapidly develop new endpoints, new services, and never even have to touch your server. It'll just constantly reload in the background, which is extremely nice. So overall, I would say my review of TypeScript or NestJS is very positive. I found very good documentation. This documentation is extremely solid on the website. Everything works out of the box. Almost nothing I've tried has not worked, like the first or second time I've tried to get it to work. So there's that. Did I say it uses TypeScript? I'm a huge TypeScript fan, especially when it comes to JavaScript on the server. So it's going to come out of the box with TypeScript support as well. So yeah, there's my review. Go ahead and check it out. Thanks.